What are the biggest misconceptions that foreigners have about starting a business here in Japan?
I don't think it's that hard to do. I think everyone starts off like as a freelancer or something of that nature. They can go and do like their white or their blue taxes. That's how it starts. Eventually, if you're running a business and it's growing, you'll make enough money to hire an accountant. If you speak a little bit of Japanese, you can use a Japanese accountant for a much lower cost than the bilingual ones. And setting up a business as well is really cheap. Even some of the bilingual companies that do it, they do it for a monitor amount. So I think if you're doing it all yourself, it's a bit of a time suck to really like understand how to do it and all this stuff. But that's fun. I mean, I think people who are building their own businesses, they're fundamentally scrappy people, right? So for me, that's how I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of it by myself, and I liked that. It was like cool to learn the systems and know how it's done, you know? But then after a while, you're making enough money, it's like, okay, I got to put my energy somewhere else, right? But I don't think it's that hard. I don't think like get a hanko, that's kind of a weird thing, right? But like get a hanko. If you have money and you can speak Japanese, pay some cheap, accountants or whatever to do it for you. But until then, just take the necessary little steps until you can get to that level.
What are the necessary little steps?
When you're first making money, like I don't know about other companies, but my revenue in year one was 27,000 yen, not dollars. 27,000 yen, $160 or so for you Americans, right? I had like one project or two projects, right? And then the next year was, a couple $1,000s, right? It was just small, it was tiny, And when you're at that size, like you just got to do everything yourself. You're like, oh, wait, I have a salary from my English gig, and I'm making a little money on the side. Oh, my employer won't fill that form out for me anymore. I better figure out how to do it. Oh, I got to get there by March 15th or whatever it is, right? You just do it yourself. You just do what you got to do, and you get through that. And then you're like, oh, I'm a business. I need to kind of register it because I just found out that I can get like an extra deduction if I register my business, even as a sole proprietor. So I'm like, okay, I'll just go do that. So I'm like, where do I do that? Oh, the tax office. So it's just these little things along the way. You just do it.
Sounds like.
Yeah, you do what you got to do to keep your thing going, right? And then you start paying other people when you can.